Being a widely recognized advocate for the empowerment of women herself, it was inevitable that Thelma Ekiyor, in her role as moderator for the second session at the IIF's 4th annual convening on impact investing, would place emphasis on the gender gap in the investing space, both on the African continent and the world in general.
Somehow, the questions always go to women, so I'm going to ask the men. AFDB says that there is a $42 billion financing gap to women entrepreneurs in Africa. And then recently we've had the 2X Challenge, which is a $15 billion commitment to finance women globally.
She also taxed the 2 male panelists, Messrs. Nwoneli and Adeosun, on their organization's profiles and track records in this regard.
So we then made a very conscious effort over the past 2 years in our recruiting to change that investment team composition, and which effectively meant that I was refusing to look at CVs of men, and very consciously. And where we are right now is that if you exclude myself and other partner, our entire investment team is entirely women today. Now,
so when we started Kurama Capital and we started investing in managers, at least anchoring managers, and then we looked at what we had done. We'd anchored 15 brand new folks. Of the 15, we anchored women twice. But it was the same woman in Ethiopia twice.
It goes without saying that in the 21st century and beyond, the global marketplace and indeed every aspect of human endeavor will be defined by powerful, far-reaching and potentially disruptive new technologies and continually evolving paradigms of engagement, and the impact investing ecosystem will be no exception. How can enterprises in this space effectively deploy these technologies and paradigms in a way that maximizes their potentials and mitigates their risks and inherent challenges?
And I include basic telecommunications as one element of basic infrastructure in the same way that I include power and roads as the 2 other elements of basic infrastructure. And this is my plea to the government is like, please, 3-point agenda. Telecoms, roads, and power, and then let the private sector do the rest.
We invested in a company called Vanu, and they specifically have proprietary technology they've developed to build small cell networks, which need only 700 users, are at a much lower price point than a mobile network operator, and are solar powered. And so they can actually, with just $2 in terms of average revenue per user per month, operate these cell networks profitably, and they work across about 13 countries now. I think these type of solutions are going to be important for really getting to that next level of scale.
Concluding to the second panelist session on this note, Ekiyor called on the authorities at national and subnational levels to erect key pillars that can hold up the sustainable business and impact investing ecosystem that is emerging in Nigeria, beginning with the formulation and enforcement of legislation on intellectual property and fundamental human rights, among other policy measures. The panel discourse ended with a lively question and answer session as participants asked questions around issues such as the ability of local startups to get international funding and broadening the scope of diversity beyond gender, among others.
I was actually a little bit surprised at that investor's reaction, and I think it's also to recognize that when you look for investors, you need to then make sure that you have the right partner for your business based on the stage it's in terms of size, because the investors that look at different sizes of business, as well as how early or developed it is, and your values, etc., align. So not every Naira is the same.
To me, I think the more capital that comes in, the more you help the bottom of the pyramid, because your goal is for these companies to scale, to generate more revenues. And by doing that, obviously, you're hiring a lot more people.
We leave the last word on how to grow the impact investing space to Nneka Eze of Vested World.
I think that's one of the things, is providing access to information about what are those investable opportunities and what type of investment are we talking about? Are we talking about a 1.5x return? Are we talking about 100x return? But what is the range of impact investing opportunities that exist in Nigeria that we've seen from the different funds and the different social enterprises that exist? And let's start spotlighting those. I think that might help people to understand that there is an opportunity, and maybe even that some of what they're doing might have classified as impact investing if they were ready to call themselves impact investors in the first place.